Hi, this is GAMEZOMATIK and welcome back to my channel. And today what I wanted to do is talk a little bit about the PlayStation Vita. Just simply because I just don't feel that the Vita gets enough love. So I just wanted to talk a little bit about it and some of the games that I've got on it and why I love the PlayStation Vita. Now, since it was released a couple of years ago, I was very early adopter of the PlayStation Vita. I got mine kind of day of release. I actually got it a day early. I ordered it and it came a day early, so I was playing it the day before it was released in the UK. And I just thought it was a fantastic device. I'm a massive fan of the PlayStation Portable, the PSP. Got quite a significant PlayStation Portable collection. I love collecting for that. So when the Vita was announced, I was really interested in it. But I think they've made some absolutely disastrous errors, Sony, with the Vita, and obviously now they've kind of turned their back on it. And I just wanted to talk about why I like it, what games I've got for it, and where I think they went wrong with the Vita. So what I'll do first is talk about some of the negative points of it. So one of the main things about the PlayStation Vita I think they got wrong from the outset was I think that it was sold a lot of false promises, especially here in the UK. One of the main reasons I bought a Vita when it came out, other than the games that were coming out, and I thought it looked graphics fantastic. It was, technically it's an extremely powerful piece of hardware. But what I think they got wrong was I was really looking for it in regards to support for other things, such as watching TV shows and things like that. And a good example of that is Netflix. When it was announced in the UK and across North America and across the world, it was promised they'd support Netflix and a lot of other kind of media applications, and it just never came out. Netflix was released in America. It was a big one for me. It was a big selling point for me was Netflix, because I was quite a big Netflix subscriber at the time of release. Still, I'm a Netflix subscriber, and I wanted this device so I could sit in bed, put some headphones on and watch Netflix in bed, small screen. It wouldn't keep my wife awake, and I could just stream television shows to it. Now, it was released in America, so the software was there. The app exists, and I believe in North America you can still watch Netflix on your PS Vita. For some bizarre reason that has still never really been explained, that was never ever implemented in Europe. So we've never been able to get a Netflix app, and it's just crazy. So I've never ever got Netflix sort of compatibility with it in Europe. And the same things with YouTube. We did get a YouTube app, which was okay but not great, but it was never updated properly, and it was actually pulled from the PS Vita store. I think it was earlier this year, so now we can't even watch YouTube on it. So again, that kind of media functionality is just all but gone on the Vita. Another big mistake I think they made was the proprietary memory cards that you could only. They should have just put normal SSD, not SSD, thingy. I know what I mean. The normal SD cards in or whatever. Instead, Sony came out with their own memory cards. They're really expensive to buy. If you want like a 64 gig one, you're talking about £65 for one, for a 64 gig, whereas you can buy a 64 gig micro SD for about £15. So it's absolutely crazy. That was a crazy decision that they did, and they just haven't really supported it at all. And they've all but given up on the Vita, especially in Europe. I think it's got quite a lot of support by third-party developers in places like Japan. There's a lot of Japanese games out for the Vita, especially RPGs and things like that. But if you're not really into them, boxed copy wise, sort of, if you like collecting physical kind of Vita games, there's not really much out there for you if you live in Europe, unless you start importing from PlayAsia and stuff like that and getting boxed Vita games. I mean, there's still, up until quite recently they were still releasing sort of limited edition Vitas in Japan and places like that, whereas we've only ever had kind of the normal one here in the UK. and it's just outliving no support. And then there's the lack of AAA games. Now that I kind of understand why they'd stopped making AAA games for it, but had they marketed the machine correctly and everything, again, I think it'd have taken off. I think one thing they did in America, in some places, North America, I might be wrong on this, or somewhere within the world, I know they were, one point they were doing a pack where you bought a PS4 and a Vita pack and you got them all together. That's an absolutely brilliant idea, and I think they've pushed that a lot more in Europe and the UK, and where you could buy a bundle where you got a Vita and a PS4 with a subscription, and they might have cracked it. And then obviously everyone would have a Vita then when they made these AAA games, people would be buying them because they've already got a Vita. And I just think they totally fucked up in marketing that and just turned their back on it, and for no reason. And I don't understand, because they didn't do it to the PSP. They were still making PSP games up until relatively recently, and still pushing that system right up until the terrible PSP Go. But it's just like they gave up. It's like they looked at it and went, oh, everyone can play games on their phones and tablets, we just won't bother. So they're the kind of negative sides of it. The positive sides of it, it's absolutely fantastic piece of hardware. I mean, this thing is powerful. I absolutely love my PS Vita. My dad actually gave my son one a couple of weeks ago. My dad had one and he wasn't using it, and he gave it to my son, who's a massive Minecraft fan, and he hasn't stopped playing Minecraft on it since. Everywhere we go in the car, he takes his PS Vita with him and he's on Minecraft, and there's some other games. He likes FIFA and things like that on it. And I know that stuff you can get on like the DS and things like that, and you can get them on tablets, but he was really made up to kind of get his own dedicated gaming handheld. Now, he did have a DS that he got 2 years ago for Christmas, but he was never really showing much interest in it. I don't know why. And there's a lot more games out there for him, but maybe he's like me. He likes the technology. He really likes his Vita, and he's really into that. And I love it as well. I think it's a fantastic, powerful piece of hardware, and it's a real shame that Sony don't support it. They just sort of see it now as this device you can stream your PS4 to, and that's it. And that's all they seem to want to support it for. I just wanted to sort of come on and say what a shame it was that it wasn't supported, and it'd be nice if they brought out more retail products for it, because to go out and buy Vita games in the UK is practically near impossible. Even if you go to the big retailers like Game or Granger Games, places like that, supermarkets don't stock any Vita games. A Game, I've got a very limited selection. They get one or two in, but you'd be lucky if you find more than maybe 15 titles. And most of them you just have to order them offline, and there's a real lack of boxed content. But I'm going to show you some of the Vita games I've got anyway. This is my PlayStation Vita, and I'll just do a close-up there, and you can see some of the games that I've got on mine. So I've got Civilization Revolution 2 Plus, which is a great sort of handheld version of Civilization. XCOM Enemy Unknown, that's amazing. What they've basically done is taken the original XCOM Enemy Unknown and ported it onto the PS Vita. Again, those two games you can only get download off the PSN store. You can't, there's no sort of physical release of them games, and I don't understand why. They'd be great if you could get like a boxed cartridge with them on. I've got Minecraft on there, Unit 13, which is a fantastic release title that came out for the PS Vita. I've got Persona 4, which I only actually got the other day because I was looking for games for the Vita, because I'm going on holiday soon, going on holiday in a week or so abroad, and I wanted some games on my Vita, and everyone, so you go online like you do, and you sort of look up the best kind of games, and Persona 4 came up as number one in like nearly every top 10 Vita game sort of video that I looked at, so I thought I'd download it. It was really cheap as well. I think the box copy goes for about £20 to £25, but actually you can get it for £6 off the PlayStation Network. I've got Assassin's Creed Chronicles, Killzone Mercenary, Football Manager 2014, and Earth Defense Force, and then going down I've got some minis there. Old Volume, which is a great game, great stealth game. Little Big Planet, Hustle Kings, Plants vs Zombies, Ollie Ollie, which is a really good skateboarding game. This is absolutely brilliant for I'm just going to put the PSN store. This is absolutely brilliant for indie games. If you like those small games that you just want to go on and play 20 minutes of, it's absolutely brilliant. And if you go on the store, there's absolutely loads of them. Loads and loads of games. And, you know, there's some really good games on it. I just wish they bring out, as a collector, you want boxed retail games. And so it's unfortunate because I've kind of found now that most of the Vita stuff that I buy, I have to get it off the PSN store because you can't get boxed stuff anywhere unless you order it from abroad. So yeah, I'm just going to go finish off by just showing you some of the box games that I've got. Now some of these I already had, and some of these my dad gave, well, he gave me and my little boy when he gave me his Vita. Some of these were his that he's passed on to us, but we shall share them amongst ourselves. So we've got Unit 13, which is a fantastic, really launch title for the PS Vita, and for me this is one of the best games, along with Uncharted Golden Abyss, you can get on the Vita. It was only ever released on the Vita as well. It wasn't released on any other system, and it's like a military shooter, third person military shooter. Fantastic graphics. Yeah, so Unit 13. Got FIFA Football. This was a release title. This is the original one. This has been, they've brought up a couple of upgraded kind of versions of this since, so like, you know, the yearly releases. I think 14 and 15 came out. I don't think 16 came out, so they've obviously stopped making even FIFA now for the Vita, which is unfortunate. But yeah. Little Big Planet. There's actually two versions of this. This is the original Little Big Planet PS Vita. This again is brilliant. This was made specifically, this version of the game, for the PS Vita, and it is the best version of Little Big Planet you can buy because it uses the touch controls. Or there is another version of this that came out which includes some superhero stuff as well, and I believe you can get a boxed copy of that as well. But I got this, and yeah, this is really good, and you know, this will just last for hours. So I've got Killzone Mercenary, again a great Vita exclusive. This is a powerhouse. This just shows you what can be achieved on the Vita had it retained AAA kind of investment, if you like, or whatever. It's absolutely fantastic first person shooter. I love the Killzone series, and this is actually a lot better than Killzone Shadowfall that came out on the PS4. This is the better game, definitely. It looks stunning. It's absolutely amazing to look at. And if you've got PlayStation TV as well, which is the kind of Vita that you can plug into your television, this actually works on that. It's got support for that. Of course, Minecraft. I've got the downloaded version off the store on my Vita, but my little boy wanted a copy, so I went and bought him this. This is the Minecraft physical release, and this is pretty good because if you've got a PS3, you get a code in it and you get a free copy for the PS3, and you can actually transfer your saves between your PS3 and the Vita, so you can make any level on the Vita and transfer it to the PS3 or the PS4. Everybody's Golf, which I think was a release title. This is one that my dad gave me. It's a golf game. If you like you like this. If you like golf games. I've got Assassin's Creed Liberation. Again, another kind of exclusive for the Vita. Well, it was a Vita exclusive. I think eventually they did release it on download for PlayStation 3, I think, and the PC. But originally it was a PS Vita exclusive, and this is a really good Assassin's Creed game. Really different because you play a female assassin in it, and it's set kind of all in. It's set around the same time as Assassin's Creed 3, but it's all sort of revolves around slavery and things like that. It's really good. And this is the last game, and I actually only got this the other day. And you know what I was saying, that they were not supporting it anymore. And so I got this because I was surprised that you could get it on the Vita, and I did have it on the Xbox One, but I saw my Xbox One recently, so I didn't have it anymore. And then I saw it for the Vita, so I picked it up, and that's Assassin's Creed Chronicles, which is again a great game to have kind of on the move, and definitely probably more suited to playing on the Vita than it would be on a PS4 or Xbox One. You know, it's kind of that kind of 2D sort of stealth game, and I'm having a lot of fun with this. I'm really enjoying it. Plus, it's got 3 games in it. It's got all 3 of the Assassin's Creed Chronicle games in it, so it's really good. Yeah, so I just wanted to come on really and talk about the Vita, and sort of for anyone who hasn't got one, sort of say it's probably a good time to pick one up now. You can get a second-hand one really cheap now. I've seen them for as little as about £60 or £70. You know, and even though you can't buy the physical release games amazingly well, if there's loads and loads of stuff on the store you can download, and it's sort of a great time to pick one up. So yeah, anyway, thanks for watching the video, and I shall be back with another video soon. So take care, and I'll speak to you later. Bye.